Hello everyone, Arturo Ramirez here. I'm in a Galactic Science community server world. I wanted to do a world showcase to kind of show you what everyone who played did. I'd like to thank the mod pack creator, Caithleen, for setting this up for us all to play in. Raetac participated, Aknot participated, Warmastr participated, Sandstroem, Smashkeys, and myself. We played for about a day before we made it to Mars. Might have been about 12 hours. And really, it took about a weekend of constant play to really kind of get virtually everything done. And then after that, a couple of us spent a little bit more time kind of finishing off quests that we hadn't done up until then, and just kind of rebuilding the base to make it into something that looked a little better than what it looked like while we were playing. Before we go back downstairs, let's just look at some of the other things here. The server was sponsored by mim.li. Thank you for letting us play. We appreciate that. Over here we have our setup for our rocket launches. As Warmastr can tell you, make sure you have a hole punched in the ceiling before you attempt to launch a rocket. Otherwise, bad things happen. So this is a tier 3 rocket. We have a tier 2 rocket in here. This is our fuel production. You just take logs and put them in here. Just grab a couple here. Okay, put some logs in here, and these crucibles will make oil, which this refinery makes into rocket fuel, which this fuel loader feeds into the rocket. When you need oxygen, you just grab a couple from this chest here, swap out your old ones. That's a little bug. We actually have an oxygen bubble up here, but let me just show that. If I take these oxygen, you can see I'm taking damage from no oxygen, even though I'm standing inside the bubble. Anyway, put your empties in here and give it a second. They get pulled down that pipe into the oxygen compressor down there, which will refill them and put them back up here once they're full. Okay, now let's go downstairs. I think that's everything up here. Yeah, let's go downstairs. These elevators are very nice. So this is the industrial complex. I finished the rebuild of this, I think it was last Sunday. And other than that, it's just been kind of just sitting here. I didn't build everything that was in here, or I didn't design them initially. I just kind of rebuilt them when I did the cosmetic remodel. The things that I did build are these water-based power systems. This one here and this one here. These are my design. Each one of these produce about 7,000 RF a tick, and these are no-touch power systems. They just run, and I like them an awful lot. This is the advanced generator turbine system that Caithleen set up. They have Ender IO tanks which feed into them. This system also produces 14,000 RF a tick. They runs off of propane. This barrel is full of propane here, fed into a router, which goes into the Ender IO tanks, which feed the turbine generator. And this system over here is what produces the propane. We have a storehouse of hydrogen and carbon. These synthesizers produce propane. Rationing pipes make sure they only get enough to do that. And these barrels are B-space barrels that have been connected, so whenever propane appears in this tank or in this barrel, it also appears in this barrel. And you can shut these off with these switches here or shut them on. So if I turn them on there, you can see it's now producing propane. So with 700 stacks in there currently, you know, it doesn't really need propane. The system's not really producing anything right now, so it's not really drawing hardly any power. Over here are some of the other automated resource production that we have. Let's start here. Underneath here is a cobblestone and lava production system. The lava goes various places. It goes to this lava tank here, so if you need a bucket of lava, you can just grab it. This tank will refill. The lava is also used to produce obsidian, endstone, netherrack. I've talked about this on the Galactic Science forum, how this works. This is, you can't really see any of it here, but this is the final product of what the system produces. This is the special chest that will, if I take some of this out of here, you can see it'll start combining stuff and making compressed cobble. So let me get rid of this cobblestone that I don't need. So the obsidian here has a B-space barrel upgrade on it up there, which goes into a decomposer, and the output of that is silicon dioxide, magnesium oxide. The magnesium oxide goes into a barrel that's got a void upgrade, so any excess just disappears, and the silicon dioxide gets stored here. Again, this can be turned on and off. I can turn it on right there, and you can see it starts producing the byproducts, producing more silicon dioxide, and the magnesium oxide is just, the excess is just disappearing. So down here, this decomposer will take the silicon dioxide and it will break it down into silicon and oxygen. If I turn that on, now unfortunately this barrel is not upgraded, so it's basically just dumping the excess silicon. So I'm going to turn that off so we don't waste it. I'll turn this off too. There's quite a bit of silicon and oxygen in there for demonstration purposes. So these crafters here, this one makes moon dirt, this one makes moon rock, this one makes moon turf. This over here can make anything that can be produced from silicon dioxide. There's a B-space barrel up there, so the silicon dioxide over there is also over here, and you can make many different things with silicon dioxide. These are the three things that you tend to make most often. Sand, gravel, dirt. You can also make pods oil. You can make certain kinds of glass. I think there's even a couple other things you can make. It's all in NEI. It'll tell you what you can make from it. And again, that can be turned on. Like right now it's set for dirt. So if I turn that on, you can see it's making dirt there. So I'll turn that off. But the main ones, the gravel, the turf, the rock, and the dirt over at the sieving station here, they all have corresponding B-space barrels, so those products are teleported over here. And nothing is sieving right now because we don't really need anything, but if we wanted something, we can just turn this on and you can see it's draining into this diamond chest, and now it's feeding into the sieves. And these all are fairly well upgraded. The fortune upgrade is nice. It increases the chance that every time something runs through the sieve, it'll produce something. Normally there's a certain chance that when you sieve gravel, you'll get something. I don't know how big that chance is, but with the fortune upgrade, it's much higher. The speed upgrade makes it run faster. We could put another 32 in here, but it uses more and more power the more upgrades you put in. Right now it's using not quite 1,000 RF a tick for each one of these sieves, so that's quite a bit. If we fully upgraded this, I believe it's 1180 RF a tick. So So all of the products from the sieves are gathered in these relocator pipes. And then underneath here is a channel that comes over to this sorting barrel, and they all get dumped in here before it's fed into the sorting system for all of these barrels. Okay. And there's a filter on it on the other side that any ore produced, any of the broken ore, gets gathered and comes up here into this conversion system. These crafters take the broken ore and combine it into the gravels, and this is a little buffer to make sure the system doesn't get overwhelmed. It gets fed into the hammers. These hammers are fully upgraded. They also use quite a bit of power, 1180 RF a tick, but 3 of these are able to keep up. The output comes over here. There's another buffer to make sure it doesn't get overwhelmed, and they go through the system twice, and then the final thing that's produced is the dusts, and the dusts get drawn out. They go back down here and they are fed over to this modular furnace. And these things work pretty quickly. The output goes into this chest here, gets drawn back in, taken over, and it's fed into the sorting system where they pop up here. If you need to do any Minechem stuff, you can use this synthesis machine for manufacturing various things. It's connected to the pipe, so it also gets fed in, and the Minechem stuff gets gathered here. And if you need to decompose stuff, you can use this decomposer here, and anything it produces will get fed into this Minechem storage area also. If you go to another planet and run a quarry, if you dump the outputs of that quarry into a dimensional chest, it goes to this dimensional chest here as long as they're both on channel 1, and it gets fed into this chest, which can be turned on and off. I'm going to turn that gravel off. We don't need to make any more of that stuff. This chest, when it's turned on with the switch, gets fed into the sieves, and they get processed. Okay. Yeah, there's quite a bit of gravel in there. It fills up very, very quickly. Okay, over here we have, this is our mob killer system. Let me go upstairs real quick, and I gotta get a pipe. Grab that. The nice thing about this setup is it produces so many apples. You can just use apples as your food source. You don't have to worry about anything else. 23 stacks of apples is quite a bit. If everyone else had been playing towards the end, I don't know, food might have been a problem, but it would have been real easy to set up a system, another farm for other food source. So, alright, if you connect that piece of energy conduit right there, now the system's on, and you can see it's producing mobs, and it's not killing anything because Killer Joe does not have his sword. Let me put the sword in there. Get him, Killer Joe! And now it'll start killing them. If you use these powered spawners, one thing I would recommend is you got to make the chamber big enough. If the interior chamber isn't 9x9 centered around the powered spawners, they will spawn outside. So the conveyor belts here pushes all of the mobs forward and towards the center. As long as you stand here, they're kind of attracted to you, so they kind of work in that direction also. And then Killer Joe will slowly dispatch them, and this vacuum hopper gathers up their drops, and it goes into this chest. And some of the things that we don't really want, like leather armor and things like that, automatically get fed into this trash can, so they disappear, so they don't overwhelm the system. So it's not, he's not really killing anything right now. Why are we not getting drops? Should be getting all kinds of stuff. Maybe it's just there's too many mobs in there for him to deal with at once. Alright, let me just break this connection real quick. There we go. Oh, well, that's part of the reason my magnet was grabbing the stuff before the vacuum hopper could. So okay, so let me put this away. This is some of our material processing, sag mills. It takes quite a bit of sand, which the sag mills produce. You throw cobblestone in there and it grinds them down to sand. This system over here is similar to the material processing over there, but this uses witch water to turn sand into soul sand. So if you feed sand into this barrel underneath here, it'll get fed into a barrel full of witch water that's automatically produced, and it will produce soul sand. So then you can take some of this soul sand over here and you can put it in this chest. Part of what this chest exists for is to filter out things like this that don't that won't feed into the sieves. So let me put this away. Okay. So eventually this soul sand, once the system runs out of gravel, and I don't know, it probably takes it 20 or 30 minutes to burn through a full chest full of gravel. And then once that happens, it'll do the soul sand, and the products, the nether quartz, the gas tears, and the nether wart will get sorted. This nether quartz and the glowstone, they can be combined in an alloy smelter to make that light emitting blast proof glass, and that's why I have 3 of these, because it takes an awful lot of those to do what I did upstairs. So that's basically everything. I think I've shown you everything. Early in the game, before we had the mob farm set up, I went to several dungeons and found a whole bunch of ender lily seeds. I think I ended up with like 15 of them, and then some of them have expanded. So this helped early in the game quite a bit, up until we had the fusion reactor set up and the ender farm, when we had basically as many ender pearls as we wanted at any given time. So this was a lot of fun to play. Again, thank you, Caithleen, for setting this up for us, and for everybody that played. I enjoyed it a lot. I hope they had fun. I hope I didn't drive them too nuts when I decided to spontaneously tear the entire base apart and redesign everything, but they seemed to like the results, so I guess it all worked out in the end. Thank you for watching. This is Arturo Ramirez signing out.